Hey, this is Jody Roundhouse with the Roundhouse Report. I want to say really quickly about how the Marines are evolving back into becoming Marines. Today is April 7th, 2020. Coronavirus pandemic is happening. Everybody's in their homes. My state has a mandatory quarantine, so figured I'd make a video real quick on something that I've been aware of for a while and recently been reading more acutely on from two or three different sources. The Commandant of the Marine Corps, just to show you how ill prepared I am, I don't even know his name. I don't have it memorized, but I get confused because the former Commandant was General Dunford. I believe now General Dunford is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was a Marine. A Marine general is a good guy to have heading up the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was the Marine Commandant. Commandant means you're in charge of everything. Within that framework, at least, within the Marines. But he became the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and someone took his place. I don't know the name. I would recognize it if I heard it or see it or whatever, but it was either the Commandant or the second in command for the Commandant in the Marines. He recently came out, and I'm going to paraphrase it. And he was pretty blunt himself. Oh, excuse me. He was like, okay, listen, for the last 20 years, we've been fighting wars in Afghanistan and in Iraq and in various locations around the world, but generally with regard to the Marines, Iraq and Afghanistan, especially both. The Marine Corps spearheaded the re-invasion, if you want to put it that way, of Helmand Province in Afghanistan in 2009. The Marines are the ones who battled in Fallujah in 2004 in both battles. The Marines, the Commandant, the second in command of the Commandant, recently came out and held a lecture/press conference and reminded the world that the Marines are Marines. They're not army grunts. They're Marines. Marines, like ancient Roman Marines. They fight from boats. They fight amphibiously. And he said, "Look, we're not gonna use the Marines anymore to kick down doors in Fallujah. Okay, from now on, that's gonna be the job of the Army, to whom it was supposed to be to begin with. Those are the grunts. The Army needs to be. They're the ones that kick in doors. They're the ones that launch invasions/re-invasions via land. It's the Army, not the Marines." And as such, this guy continued, we are having a direct overhaul of Marine doctrine. As of now, this has already begun and is underway, whereby Marines now will be stationed with the Navy. There's going to be much closer coordination. Remember, if I recall correctly, the Marines began not as the Marines, but as a part of the Navy. You were a Navy Marine. And then after World War II, they made it an official branch, the Marines. If I recall correctly, that's how it went. So that cooperation with the Navy over the past 20 years has declined. And they've been cooperating more with the Air Force and I guess with the Army, but more so with the Air Force and the artillery fire bases and things like that, as opposed to the Navy, but they're Marines. So once again, the Army kicks in doors, the Marines land on beaches. Okay, so recently I read an article where today's April 7th, 2020. I recently read an article that was talking about how the Marines have been conducting active training exercises in and around the South China Sea that mimics seizing an island, a contested island, mimics defending an island against being invaded. And we've even gone so far, and this has been going on for the past 5 to 10 years with Japan under Prime Minister Abe. We've even gone so far as to launch a number of drills with Japan's Marines. They chose the same word as us. U.S. Marines devastated the Japanese during World War II. So they have their own Marine Corps, the Japanese Marines. They have been training alongside U.S. Marines for the past at least 5 years, just because I remember reading a story about 3 years ago. I don't know how many, a brigade or a battalion of Marines, Japanese Marines, came over in the San Diego, and they trained with U.S. Marines, and guess what they did? The training exercise was seizing a contested beach. If you look at open source material regarding the Japanese military under President Abe, not President, Prime Minister Abe, they have, since World War II, Japan has had a pacifist, literally pacifist constitution. They're allowed to have a military that's capable of defending their home islands, but they're not allowed to have an offensive military. That has changed beginning around Bush, Bush W Bush, whatever, the second Bush. Ever since then, as of now, Prime Minister, everyone's freaked out by China over there and North Korea, and they understand the link between the two. And now they have officially, under Prime Minister Abe, they've amended their constitution. They are now allowed to have, and again, this is all under American guidance and allowances. We are allowing Japan, and have allowed Japan, to now officially, as of a couple years ago, they've changed their constitution to allow them an offensive military capability. And ever since then, they have amphibious ships. We've been training with them on how to take islands, because any war with China would most likely involve taking and retaking islands, defending islands, etc. Especially Taiwan, but that is a whole different video. Taiwan is a whole different freaking ball game. That's what we're currently doing. So don't let the coronavirus pandemic destroy the other crap that's going on in the world. And I predict a war with China within 5 to 10 years. Whether that's going to be a big, long, total war, or whether that's going to be a 2-week-long flash war, I have no idea. But I do predict a war with China, and I do predict profound losses on both sides. And I do predict that the United States may lose that war. It all depends on who's in the White House. It depends on who the generals are, and if they're given the authority by the White House to command their troops and fight the war as they have been studying their entire lives to do, as opposed to the White House playing politics to fight the war. And it depends on our capability within the region. We already have many force multipliers in the region, like the THAAD missile defense system. It's the acronym, all caps, THAAD, I believe. THAAD, the THAAD missile. Everyone's afraid of it. The United States only has 4. We have 4 THAAD missile batteries. One's in Guam, one's in South Korea, one's in Saudi Arabia, and I don't know where the last one is. But if we publicly say we have 4, we probably have 8. So Europe, Asia, I don't know, Hawaii. So anyhow, that's the Marines, the Marine Commandant's like, we're going back to being Marines. We're going to take islands, we're going to seize islands, we're going to hold islands, we're going to defend islands. And if you want to have an urban warfare situation, you can go ahead and use the Army, because what's their job if you're not going to use them as infantry on the land, which is literally that's what the Army's job is land warfare. All right, this is Jody Roundhouse out. Please subscribe. Please bring your friends. They might be interested. The coronavirus, just wear a mask. N95. Make sure you put that filter in there. It's a little cloth filter. And stay busy. Stay occupied while you're in your homes. What have you been meaning to do for the last year that you haven't gotten around to doing because of the dictates of daily living? Do them. I bought a bunch of board games. I'm going to try to do bonding with my friends and family through games. They're fun. It's good for mental stimulation. You're sitting around bored. You can't watch TV all day. You have to have mental stimulation. So you can watch some of my videos. You can play some games, play some video games, or you can play some board game, tabletop games, which I like. Play some freaking card games. Play some gin rummy with your mom. Have a couple beers. Do whatever you got to do. Like the John Lennon song, whatever gets you through the night. Whatever gets you through the night. Dun, 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 dun. It's alright. It's alright. Whatever gets you through the night. It's alright. It's alright. So my modification would be whatever gets you through the coronavirus. It's alright. It's alright. Whatever gets you through the coronavirus, it's alright. It's alright. Perfect example right here. Skirmish. Skirmish with a C. This is a really cool game where you have like these general cards, and it's a very simple game. It's simplistic, but it does require strategy. It does require memory. Again, mental stimulation. Reading. What are some books you've been wanting to read? This card game takes like 10 minutes to play. It's a 2-player game. It's kind of like War. Fun. I haven't played it yet because I'm under freaking quarantine, so I can't meet up with my buddies yet, but I know how to play it, and I already have my deck set up and ready to go. So mental stimulation is what we all need right now when we're in isolation. All right, guys, be safe. Roundhouse Report out. All right.